The median American income is around $5,000 a month, and most people think you'd need at least $1 million to earn that in retirement. But what if I told you you could start with just $1,000, less than your last vacation, and begin building a portfolio that could one day pay you that same $5,000 every single month without selling a single stock? In this video, I am going to show you, step by step, how to build a dividend-paying Fidelity Index Fund portfolio that can one day cover all your living expenses. We'll go over the biggest mistakes people make chasing dividends, the exact funds I picked, and the lowest amount you actually need for these index funds to pay you over $60,000 a year in passive income, and how to reach that goal 10 years faster. Section 1. Why index funds are the smartest way to build wealth. When most people think about getting rich, a few things come to mind, or maybe even crypto. And hey, all of those can work, but they usually come with huge risks, stress, and a ton of effort. Real estate sounds stable until you are the one dealing with late-night repair calls and broken toilets. Stock picking is fun until one surprise earnings report wipes out your favorite company. And crypto? That's basically a roller coaster with no seatbelt, one tweet away from disaster. Now, compare all that to index funds. They're low-cost, diversified, and ridiculously simple. Instead of betting on one company, you're owning hundreds. That spreads out your risk and smooths the ride. No staring at charts, no panic selling at 2 a.m. You just buy, hold, and let time do the heavy lifting. It's one of the few strategies that actually works while you sleep. No, it won't make you rich overnight. But over time, it builds serious, reliable wealth. And for what we're doing today, building steady, growing income, it's absolutely perfect. Section 2. The biggest mistake people make with dividends. When people hear dividend investing, they usually think, find the highest yield possible. A fund paying 7% or even 10% sounds amazing, right? But here's the truth. Those numbers can be a trap. High yields often come with high risk, or companies that are barely holding on. If the market doesn't trust it to grow, you might get a nice check today. But when that dividend gets cut, or the stock crashes, that safe income disappears overnight. That's why I focus on total return, not just yield. Total return, check on dividend yield. Dividend growth plus share price appreciation. It's not about how much you earn today. It's about how much that income grows, and how much your portfolio is worth years down the line. Section 3. The total return mindset. Here's the power of compounding most people miss. Let's say you have two funds. One pays 7% yield but doesn't grow. Another pays 2.5% yield but grows 15% every year. Guess what? That second one crushes the first one over time. Because your dividends keep compounding, your income doubles every few years. And so does your wealth. That's how you build a dividend engine that scales with you. Section 4. How I pick index funds. So how do you actually pick the right index funds? It's not about chasing hype or reacting to the latest market news. It's about 3 key principles that maximize total return and income over time. 1. Reliable dividend yield. A steady payout that's consistent, not crazy high. 2. Strong dividend growth. Funds that raise dividends every single year. 3. Share price appreciation. Growth that builds your wealth in the background. And finally, diversification. The silent hero. Exposure to US mid-caps, large caps, small caps, international markets, and ESG sectors keeps your portfolio balanced and resilient. Section 5. Why not just the S&P 500? Second, you might be thinking, why not just buy the S&P 500 and chill? It's true, the S&P 500 is amazing for long-term growth. But if your goal is income, it falls short. The average S&P 500 ETF yield is around 1.27%, with about 6.3% dividend growth. Now let's do the math. If you want $60,000 per year in dividends, that's $5,000 per month. You'd need almost $4.72 million invested. Even with 30 years of compounding, you'd still need around $750,000 just for that income. Why? Because those ETFs focus on growth, not cash flow. You'd be forced to sell shares to live, which is not sustainable or predictable. That's why my Fidelity strategy is different. We're building a self-sustaining income engine, one that pays you without selling anything. Section 6. The Dividend Income Engine. Here's the formula that drives everything. Dividend yield pays you today. Dividend growth pays you more tomorrow. Share price appreciation grows your wealth behind the scenes. When all three work together, you're not just investing, you're compounding toward financial freedom. Section 7. The 5 Fidelity Index Funds. Here's the lineup, the core 5 that power the portfolio. Fund roll dividend, yield dividend growth price growth, FSMDX, Fidelity Midcap Index Fund Income Grower, 2.27%, 23.67%, 6.53% FCIPX, Fidelity Zero Extended Market Index Fund Diversifier, 1.19%, 20%, 5.08%, FNILX, Fidelity. Zero Large Cap Index Fund, Stability, 1.02%, 17.21%, 12.09%, FZ Rocks, Fidelity. Zero Total Market Index Fund, Growth Driver, 1.09%. 9.21%, 11.6%, FTLX, Fidelity US Sustainability Index Fund, ESG Balance, 1.22%, 18.07%, 10.68%, Combined Portfolio Averages, Dividend Yield, 1.36%, Dividend Growth, 10Y, 19.62% Price, Appreciation, 9.2%. This portfolio gives you steady income, fast dividend growth, and solid appreciation, all in one. Section 8, Growth Scenarios. Now let's see what this looks like in real life. Scenario 1, the small start. You begin with $1,000 and add $1 a day, $30 a month. Year 1, 1,466. Year 10, 9,183. Year 20, 45,287. Year 30, 441,988. By year 30, your portfolio is paying you $79,720 a year. That's $6,644 per month. And here's the kicker. $278,525 of that growth came purely from reinvested dividends. You literally built an income machine from $1 a day. Scenario 2, 10 years faster. Want to reach that same 5,000 month goal a full decade earlier? Start with $20,000 and invest 20 day, 600 month. Year 1, 29,411. Year 10, 185,396. Year 20, 914,971. By year 20, your portfolio pays $68,698 a year. That's $5,625 month in pure dividends. Even if you stopped reinvesting and started taking income, you'd still have a portfolio worth $748,971. No selling, no stress, just consistent growing cash flow. Section 9, Closing, Freedom and CTA. So here's the truth. You don't need millions, you just need the right funds, a simple, consistent plan and patience to let time and compounding do the work. With the right Fidelity portfolio, you're not chasing hype, you're building freedom. Because this isn't about getting rich fast. It's about never worrying about money again. Want to know how to get paid every single week, starting next week? Click the video on your screen right now, and I'll show you how to turn your dividends into weekly paychecks.